I'm Clyde Lewis. Welcome to Ground Zero Behind the Scenes. You know, yesterday I was just really railing on NASA because they were talking about this planet that they found 600 light years away. And I said, wait, it's 22 million years if we use our technology today to go to it. How the hell do they know that this is happening? I came to the conclusion that NASA controls everything out there about the information you receive about whether or not there are extraterrestrials or life out in space. So I started doing some investigating, and I said, look, if something was to happen where it was unmistakable that something is out there, NASA would deny it right and left. Well, that something happened today, and I'm going to talk about that. First, I want to remind you that last night I did talk about the report from Iron Mountain and how using a space menace of some kind would be perfect to bring about a new world order, to bring people together. As Ronald Reagan says, if we all knew that there was some sort of a space threat out there, we would unite as a people. Well, let's take a look at this. In the report from Iron Mountain, it says this: it has been hotly argued that such a space menace would offer the last best hope of peace by uniting mankind against the danger of destruction by creatures from other planets or from outer space. Experiments have been proposed to test the credibility of an out-of-our-world invasion threat. It is possible that a few of the more difficult-to-explain flying saucer incidents of recent years were in fact early experiments of this kind. If so, they could hardly have been judged encouraging. We anticipate no difficulties in making a need for a giant super space program credible for economic purposes, even were there not ample precedent extending it for political purposes to include features of unfortunately associated with science fiction. That would obviously be more of a dubious undertaking. What they were planning on doing is creating some sort of a space menace that we can all agree would be a threat to the planet, right? What is interesting, that back in November I talked with Duncan Luna, and that was on 11/9/11. He was a Scottish astronomer who claimed that he intercepted some messages from some space group located in the Epsilon Bootis region of outer space. And then he went back and said, I didn't contact these people, I didn't intercept these messages, but he did say that there were powers out there that were somewhere between Mars and Mercury that needed to be addressed. And he said that he was talking with a group of students in Glasgow about that very thing. What I find interesting, though, is during this time, and during we were speaking with Duncan, people were sending me pictures of strange anomalies near the sun. Now, there's a picture that was taken in Portland, Oregon, of a strange anomaly above the sun. Now, that is not lens flare. That is an actual anomaly that changes position near the sun. And I find it very fascinating that there have been a lot of sites that have talked about this, but no one has wanted to acknowledge where it comes from. And here's another shot. As the clouds move over, you can see it's blocking the light of this strange space anomaly. So obviously it's out there, and this isn't trick of the photography either. This is reality. And so this strange space force that Duncan Luna had talked about was actually cut off from the podcast because for some reason the equipment we were using just died. And so we only had a partial broadcast, a partial record of this. Well, lo and behold, something happened near Mercury today that I need to show you on video. And it's really amazing what happened. Take a look. What you're seeing here is you're seeing the stereo satellite picking up Mercury moving through space. But as the CME is coming from the sun, you notice something is appearing near Mercury. Look at that. It looks like some sort of strange spaceship or some sort of I see it as something that looks kind of like Skylab. Watch, I'm going to try and freeze it here. There you go. What is that? What is it appearing near Mercury? Now, NASA says that what it is it's Mercury itself, that it's nothing more than a shadow of 2 days of monitoring this, but this is being done all at once. So what is sitting here is something that is huge. They estimate the size of the moon right there near Mercury that's poised above Mercury. Now, what is that thing? I'm beginning to wonder if this is exactly what we're talking about when it comes to some sort of a space menace, where eventually they're not going to be able to hide what is going on near Mercury. And in fact, Mars, the Mars probe, the Phobos Grunt probe that was the Russian probe, somehow was held in a strange orbit between the Earth and Mars by some strange force. So bad, in fact, that they had to find a way to bring it down safely, or it would kill thousands or maybe even hundreds of thousands of people on the Earth. So what is going on out in space? No one really knows. Something is out there in space, near the sun, near Mercury, and it's being exposed with these CMEs. Watch it once again as it comes and exposes the strange space menace. I'm Clyde Lewis, and this is Ground Zero Behind the Scenes.